fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's going around the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up to him!
Oh my god! Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, here we go! Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Welcome all to a very special broadcast by ourselves here on SimSpeed TV. We're in Dirt Rally 2.0, and this is the first initial test for the upcoming esports series that we're going to be broadcasting. Thanks to Codemasters for their support with this endeavor. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this turns out. My name is Reese Gardner. Joining me in the commentary box is Bo Albert. Bo, this is something that is a bit new to us. We're going in kind of blind. This is our first time broadcasting Dirt Rally 2.0, but we're surely in for a fun night.
Absolutely. I mean, it's very, very different. It's very unique, but at the same time, it's very exciting indeed as we are looking at getting stage number 1 underway. The lights will be out and away our drivers will go. And now, if you are wondering how this is going to work, it's all going to be the drivers at the same time firing down the course. And if you are obviously a big fan of SimSpeed and you don't watch too much Dirt Rally, on the left side of your screen, you'll see a bar climbing all the way up. And that is roughly your live standings. But if you want a better idea, in the top right, you'll also have sector times as well. But so far, Reese, we're in the Group B cars at a beautiful stage, and my word, they are giving it some.
They absolutely are. We're running the Group B four-wheel drive machines in New Zealand. We got 6 stages for these guys to strut their stuff on. At the moment, it's Matthias Madilson who is in the lead in his Lancia Delta S4. A lot of very fast corners around this New Zealand stage and a lot of dust getting kicked up. These things are quite powerful, so they have a bit of an issue putting all of that power down to the ground, but it's really good to see these 1980s machines getting out there on the track. Huge slide there from Matt Ilson. Have a look at that handbrake application. Oh, he's doing it again.
Yeah, he's almost off into the weeds, but he's somehow keeping it on the road. A lot better than Riley Blythe was, of course, homeless and fluffy on the leaderboard. But right now, he's very much in the ditch and crashing, unfortunately for Riley. But plenty of other drivers making their way around the course. You can see there the Swedish driver, Madilson. He is flying almost into the fence. Look at the speed and commitment he is carrying through some very narrow stages. But one of the things I'm really noticing at the moment is the cambered nature is really allowing them to carry a lot more speed than you naturally would. So even though it's a gravel surface, it's in the banking and into the fence. A very quick recovery. But I believe I might have just saw a right rear with a puncture. This could be a nightmare for Madilson.
It absolutely could. We'll have to wait and see how that's worked out for him. It looks like he's managed to get going again and, having a bit of trouble keeping that thing in a straight line.
Definitely a puncture. Definitely a puncture. I can see it on screen now. You can see he's weaving left and right. More than, I don't even know, maybe a pongo stick or something. It's going horribly wrong. And Madilson is off to a very bad start indeed. But what that will do is actually change our race leader to 2-2-1. Daniel Johansson, who is a very quick competitor indeed. And he is doing exactly what he can, as I think as well. Another driver was off there, Madilson having a nightmare. And Sam Thornton with a massive accident as well in the Lancia. They're all finding trouble, of course. There's not too many broadcasted events on dirt, so a lot of these guys facing a brand new pressure that so many of us on iRacing that we usually broadcast are used to. We're used to broadcasted events. For these guys, it's an entirely new thing, as at the moment we do have Daniel Hansen in a very competitive fight with Lucas Matea. These two neck and neck towards the final parts of the stage.
Yeah, absolutely. This is quite the split that we got going at the moment. And these two battling super hard along this fast stage. Elsthorpe sprint forward, so it's only a short one. But goodness me, the corners are coming thick and fast. And this is Daniel Johansson we're taking a look at the moment as he makes his way through a slower section towards the end of the stage, coming up to the finish line. Very narrow run, and he manages to do it. Let's see what the rest of the guys can do. That's such a narrow corridor, bouncing off either side. Oh no, that's more problems there for Sam Thornton. Good 360, excellent recovery.
Well, Ken Block likes his little bit of rallying, and well, I think Sam is doing a little bit of his own gymkhana. Unfortunately, I think I'm hearing a puncture on his end as well. So a lot of these guys running into a lot of trouble very, very early on, and I haven't quite got the experience in dirt to know if it carries over like it normally would. But I've got to say, if it does, then there's going to be a lot of people struggling in the next event as well. So, of course, damage doesn't repair until every second stage, when they can actually go to get service done on their cars. So I think for a lot of these guys, they may be flying into the next stage pretty wounded.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to cost them a little bit in terms of repairs when they do that. Of course, in rallying, taking repairs does set you back, and you only have a limited amount of time to work with in the service area. Fills up the allotted time you have, every kind of repair you have to make to the car. So the drivers do have to pick and choose what gets fixed on their cars, and that could make the difference between a stage win and not even seeing the finish.
Absolutely, and you can see your results up on screen right now, which is taken out by Daniel Hansen, who takes it fairly convincingly in the end by about 6 seconds over Lucas Mateo. So your top two there, well out in front. As you can see there, we're in the beautiful location of New Zealand, Hawke's Bay. Of course, not a location I'm familiar with, but I'm sure many of our SimSpeed commentators are. Great diversity here at SimSpeed as we bring you a brand new category of racing. We very rarely get to see 5 drivers lining up for stage 2, though, in the Ocean Beach Sprint Ford. So a very unique layout, I'm sure, and by the looks of it, a very pretty landscape as well, Reese.
Absolutely. It's a lovely scenery in NZ. Mother's side of the family comes from this country, so it's a place that's very close to my heart. And you saw on the stage map the amount of hairpins that the drivers have to deal with. A very narrow surface once again. And as you can see right there, a few gates you got to pass through as well. So you don't want to be messing up your trajectory when you go through one of those things, because it's going to absolutely wreck you. Fortunately, we are going to get going here for the next stage. Looking behind at the Audi Quattro. That's a nice straight run off the start-finish line. Drivers getting ready to go.
2, 1, go.
And here we are. Still carrying some damage there is Riley Blythe on his Audi. But he's off to a good start here so far. That car will be giving him some issues, though.
Absolutely. Like we said, damage does carry over for a lot of these guys, including...
Oh, no. There we go.
Riley.
Knocked out the fence too, so that's going to really set him back. Looks like that might be... well, I know that Matthias Mattielsen has retired from this, so we won't be seeing him again. Oh, that fence catching out another driver there. That's Daniel Johansson just riding the walls a little bit. Those fence posts are solid, but you don't want to push the limit with them.
No, you don't. You want to get as close as you can, but touching them, oh, it's a bit of a no-no indeed. And at the moment, we do have the driver of Mongo John doing very, very well at the moment. Actually using VR, so he's seeing things come at him a little bit quicker and a little bit more realistically than some of the others. So he's got a lot going on at the moment as he goes to a very abrupt hairpin. He's using all of the engine braking possible there. The Lancia just absolutely screaming at him as he makes his way through, but now into a very high-speed section indeed, where he'll be just trying to keep the flow, keep the car rhythm up as much as he can over a cambered transition into a hairpin, touch the handbrake if you don't mind. You can see that the course ahead as well, just curving its way very nicely as we actually go over a little bridge here with some beautiful scenery as well. Lovely New Zealand, like Reese was alluding to, and now facing a cliff face. Well, drivers have to be very, very brave to attack this stage at speed.
They absolutely do, but that Lancia Delta S4 is probably one of the best cars to tackle a stage like this. It has the engine mid-mounted. All of these cars are four-wheel drive. They produce somewhere in the vicinity 400 to 600 horsepower, Group B monsters. But the Lancia, with its mid-engine layout, certainly at an advantage on stages like this. And you see those huge bumps on the entry to the hairpin. That can really unsettle you as you go over them. But it looks like a pretty consistent run so far as he continues through the forest section. He doesn't want to hit that rock wall, though.
Lucas Mateo in all kinds of difficulty at the moment. He threw the car off in the wall just about 2 times there. Keeps it going. somehow in a straight line, but our second place runner having a couple of issues, just looking a little bit more ragged than perhaps he would like, and really working this Lancer. You can see he's just throwing it into the corners a lot more sideways, a lot more aggressive than some others as he now goes to a provisional race lead. But again, the consistency, the aggressiveness just not playing in his favor. Of course, you're going to be fast, but you're not going to be fast if you're facing the wrong way.
Yeah, he had the stage lead there, but that mistake has demoted him back to third. He's going to have to work really hard to regain some of that time. You can see up on the left of the screen just how close everyone is at the moment. The slightest mistake can set you back. That was lucky.
That was incredible and sheer luck. He is throwing it through this. This is brilliant to watch at the moment. Is Lucas Mateo, who is so close to the rock face, so close to danger at every single moment and pushing the limits like you would not believe. Of course, this game recently came out with a little pack for the master of rally himself, Colin McRae. And well, at the moment, I've got to say, there's a lot of doubt, but he's definitely flat out.
Oh, for sure. Super flat out is Mr. Matasia. But at the moment, Matthias Madelson holding that lead, not by much though, and you can see that Matasia is starting to enter this battle for second place with Mongo John. It's going to be very close between these guys, but it looks like almost another mistake there. Just overshooting was Matasia, but getting going again there in the final split. We ride on board with Matthias Madelson, makes a slight mistake in the hairpin, but he's got a nice lead at the moment, so it shouldn't hurt him too much. He's just got to keep it together till the end of the stage.
He does. The Swede now entering one of the last hairpins of the stage, just keeps it tight, keeps it clean, keeps it neat. Ow! Commentator's curse, unbelievably! And he's going to hold on to the lead by milliseconds! Less than a second between your top two. We'll have to get official stage results up on screen. The Swede takes it by 0.8 of a second over second, 0.9 over third.
Yeah, well, have a look at the gap between second and third there. That is less than a 1/10 between Mongo John and Matasia. That is incredible. Shows you the amount of competitiveness that is seen in the very small but very competitive field we have at the moment. But that is the stage done. We move on to stage 3 now. And, well, the drivers are going only with short stages for this one. So it's short and fast, nice and sweet. They don't have to deal with any huge stages that may really mess them up later on. This is the next stage then, the Awanga sprint. You see more hairpins at various points in the stage, but some very nice sweeping sections as well, which are really going to test the driver's limits.
Absolutely, and you saw 77 meters of elevation change as well. So this is not going to be a flat track. You can even see on the camera shots there that this circuit is going to be pushing the drivers uphill, downhill, and all around the bend as well. As we go on board there with the Lancia facing its way towards what is going to be a very tricky start. Probably a tight right-hander immediately off the bat. So the co-driver going to have to be very quick on his notes indeed as the lights come on. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, but you know it's going to be lights out, and away we'll go for ERT Savage, who will make his way underway now through this very, very fast section indeed. It's only a 4-kilometer circuit, so it's not going to be too long until they're at the finish line, so maximize every corner, maximize every acceleration, and you're going to put yourself in the best possible chance of a good result. What a camera angle that is, just quickly. That is beautiful.
Absolutely. Man, I wish I was there in person. But you see Sam Thornton not quite getting the backing into the hairpins that he needs the whole time, but he's staying consistent. He's keeping it on the track. And, you know, rallying, it's just fine going if in doubt, flat out. But unfortunately, if you crash, then that's going to be all the time lost. You do stand to gain a bit more if you keep it on the track and avoid taking damage and penalizing yourself.
I wish you would avoid Scottish accents, Reese, but nonetheless, we have a fantastic stage underway that is currently led by the Norwegian driver, doing very well at the moment, keeping his car exactly where he needs it. You can see just sliding the car through very close to the walls in places. As on screen, we currently look at ERT Samic, and he is doing what he can to move his way up the order, but now he will go to your race leader, who is doing very well indeed. Lucas, they're just throwing it all around, and it's very, very close between the top two right now, and they're really scrapping it away. So interesting to see what the split times are like at the moment. We have lost a couple of drivers. We've lost 2 due to 1 technical difficulty and also 1 rather large accident as well, it has to be said. But our remaining 4, they are so closely matched. Every 10th of a second is mattering at the moment as they fire through a gate.
Yeah, very narrow gate, and you see just how hard they're pushing through those tight, narrow spaces, and Lucas almost using the scenery to help him around the corner here through the rainforest section. And this is one of the very fast sweeping sections I was talking about before the stage. You see that the road going one way, another, going straight into a hairpin off a sweeper. It's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. Oh no, that is a mistake there for Mateja, and he has fallen back to 3rd place. So Madielson once again taking that race lead.
Yeah, no, he will, and he will not be wanting to let that go very quickly. But look at him, he's plowing through some fence posts and signposts on his way to a very quick time at the moment. But how many times in rally have we seen the smallest of mistake have very large consequences? We're into the final split of stage number 3 for the night, and he is looking forward to another stage win, and he's doing everything he needs to. But there's still plenty of corners to throw him off at the very last moment. 221, Daniel Hansen, they're really attacking as well into a very fast section. Keeps off all the bankings though, keeps the car nice and smooth, keeps the momentum up as well, which is a very underrated skill in rally as he almost loops it, but with a beautiful Scandinavian skip. What am I looking for?
Scandinavian
flick. You think I would know my rallycross, but I don't. But more than definitely, your race winner definitely does. So it will be 2-2-1, Mr. Daniel Johansson, who takes the win by almost 3 seconds there over John in the end with 4th place. Well, that's going to go to Lucas Matea. And unfortunately, Sam Thornton will bring up the rear, but still only just 6 seconds off your stage win.
And there you go. You have the damage that these guys are dealing with. They have all taken some damage on their cars here. It looks like at the moment it's Mongo John who is in the worst shape.
It is, and I'm not too happy about all the broken headlights, but I mean, at the end, with all the damage and trees that are around, it's got to be expected. And also, feel sorry for Sam Thornton, who has lost his exhaust entirely. So if anyone in New Zealand does find an exhaust, please contact Sam Thornton. That would be greatly appreciated. But Reese, we're moving on to stage 4.
We certainly are, and we'll be able to take a look at what this stage has to offer right now. In the lovely Hawke's Bay region, it is the Te Awanga Sprint Reverse, so running the same stage as we just did, but in the opposite direction. The drivers won't have to deal with a hairpin right off the bat, but we got to remember as well, weather is a thing too. It's wet out there.
It absolutely is. So the rain has poured and the track is slippery. And I have to say, Dirt and Codemasters have done a fantastic job in modeling how that actually affects the grip level. So what you're seeing is not just visual. Oh, no. These drivers are going to be struggling for every ounce of traction possible on entry, middle, and exit. Every aspect of their driving technique has to be changed to get the most out of these tricky conditions. But it's going to be lights out, and away we will go for the next round. Stage number 4. Who's going to be the victor? Who's going to be the one who puts it in the fence, underestimating the conditions? Well, we're about to find out as a very shaky start by Mongo there.
Yeah, absolutely. But we take a look at Mr. Thornton. Beautiful chopper shot, and you can see some of the standing water there on the gravel. That's going to throw more than a few spanners into the works, as is that. There goes Sam Thornton right off the side of a hill.
Yeah, look, that's not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. Plenty of damage to the Lancia, it has to be said, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's Rally's going to keep on trucking as much as he can. We'll switch up at the moment to Lucas Matea, who's doing very, very well at the moment, trying to get the Lancia, and I believe we are all down to Lancias now, which is a bit of a shame, being a bit of an Audi fan myself, but the Lancia doing so well in these conditions, very slightly though, didn't quite get the transition that he needed into a very tricky section, and I have to say, this is reminding me a little bit of Suzuka as he clips one of the Thrustmaster boards, in the sense that if you get one corner wrong, it hurts you for the next, and the next, and the next. It's very much a rhythm to driving around New Zealand, and a lot of drivers just falling out of that a little bit, getting into the weeds as well. So these drivers pushing everything they can and really risking the car. It is interesting to see just how much more aggressive they are being compared to some other drivers I've seen play Dirt Rally. These guys are true pros.
Yeah, well, you know, they can probably have a bit of a view as to what's going on with the deltas. They know how close the stage times have been. What's happened, Bo?
Oh, out of nowhere, Cursed Mickey has had a nightmare there. Lucas Mattea has hit the fence, does a bit of a 360 and gets going once again, but he lost a whole bundle of time.
Oh, big damage.
And that is why you have seen him fall down the leaderboard. So out of nowhere, we do have a new race leader, but for Lucas, he has thrown that all away by himself.
Yeah, that's a shame there, but you know, that's the thing. It looks like Daniel Johansson has just been able to keep it out of trouble. That's why he's taken all of these stage wins. Oh no, there we go. That's Mattea with a big crash. Even more damage to the front of his car. Well, he managed to keep the momentum forward, but no. Looks like right rear wheel is completely gone off his car, so he's going to be struggling towards the end of this.
Yeah, this is a nightmare for his overall stage result, or his overall event, I should say. So that is a big hit indeed, and not having any kind of luck, as a lot of these drivers really are just struggling at the moment. 221, or Daniel Johansson is just having a lot of trouble sliding the car around everywhere. And he is your stage leader currently. As we get into the final few corners, he's only just ahead of John, who has actually just had a little bit of an issue himself. I saw his little line there come to a complete stop, so no progress being made for a second there, but he is continuing now ahead of your third place runner in Sam Thornton. But I've got to say, at the moment, it looks like Daniel Johansson is going to round one of the final corners. There it is, and take a stage win yet again. And he's going to claw some time back there on John, who has been doing very well. And Sam, well, that's the...
yeah. I believe the term for that is out in the weeds.
I mean, that's a lot of weeds he's found himself. And he resets, and if I know anything about Codemasters, that is going to be a pretty substantial time penalty coming Sam's way. We'll get your results up on screen right about now, as that's way
backwards
to
across the line. Beautiful.
That's a way to do it. But you can see there a bit more of a spread out field compared to what we're used to, Reese.
Yes, indeed. We were getting quite used to those fantastic close splits, but Johansson taking the win by 3.7 seconds there over Mongo John, and with Mattea and Thornton both having the issues that they had. Well, that's a time loss that is going to be very difficult to recover from in these last couple of stages. There is the damage report. Still got some very heavy damage for Mongo John, and of course, Mattea and Thornton, even more damage than before. High engine temperature for Thornton. That's going to hurt him.
Well, absolutely. But the good news is it is stage 4, which means, well, that means the event is finished. It is wrap officially. And we'll see your results up on screen in just a moment. I can't quite see it on my end at the moment, but from what I can tell, it will be 2-2-1 Daniel Johansson, who takes the victory at the end of it all, with Lucas Mattea rounding it out in second and John in position number 3. Sam does get 4th place for his troubles at the end of it all, but I've got to say, that was very much survival of the fittest at the end of there, Reese.
Yeah, it absolutely was. And looks like the fittest at the end of it was Johansson. So at the end of it, he'll be very happy with that victory. So, wow. Okay. That absolutely flew by for me. And I had a lot of fun, Bo. I mean, this I'm really looking forward to seeing how this series goes off in future weeks.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a great start. Of course, it was a bit more of a small-scale start, but obviously there are big things planned for Dirt Rally, and I think, you know, this can go from strength to strength. Rally is something very, very unique to esports. It's something that's not done all too much. So for us to be able to expand on that and get these guys, you know, a local broadcast that they can do every, you know, maybe fortnight, or we don't know exactly when we'll be broadcasting, but every fortnight, that'd be great, instead of these guys having to wait an entire year for the big Dirt Rally, you know, finals. Having something more regular, get these guys used to that competitive environment. It makes things better for everyone, for us as viewers and spectators, but also for them from a competitive standpoint.
Absolutely. And I reckon, you know, rally sim racing, there's an awful lot of potential within it to get some really awesome events going. And if this is anything to go by, well, I'm certainly looking forward to it. For now, though, we're going to go on a quick break here on SimSpeed TV. We shall be back very soon. You're watching Dirt Rally 2.0 live.
fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction. He's got rid of the outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up top.
Oh my God! Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?
Welcome back. We're SimSpeed TV, broadcasting live on Twitch. Our first tester rally broadcast. We hope you've been enjoying the show that's been put on by the drivers so far. We've certainly had some interesting incidents and some very close driving, very close times amongst all of the competitors in the rally we've run so far. But we're going to an invitational event for the drivers that had issues in the last rally. Of course, not all of the drivers made it to the finish. We're starting with Bondi Forest. We're in Australia, and we are driving the R5 cars. Once again, my name is Reese Gardner, and joining me in the commentary box, the rallying expert of SimSpeed, Bo Albert.
Hello, Reese. How are we all doing? Of course, R5 cars. These are going to be a lot different to the four-wheel drive monsters we witnessed just before. Front-wheel drive, a lot less power. But my word, are these things bred and built for rallying. These things should be fantastic, and like you said, we're doing a bit of an oceanic round as well, because we've gone from New Zealand across the ditch. We're in Australia, and it's going to be lights out, and away we will go as we are on board with Sam Thornton in his beautiful Mitsubishi there, and gets himself underway and off into a very good race indeed. Reese, you take it away, having a few technical difficulties.
Yeah, no worries. As Bo gets his stuff sorted out, that wonderful looking Mitsubishi Mirage, and of course we got Ford Fiestas as well. Matthias Madilson driving a Ford Fiesta R5 in this one, and this stage is certainly one to look out for. A far cry from what we saw in New Zealand. Of course, you still got rock walls, you still got sheer drops to work with, but these Australian stages, much straighter in nature, and a lot of bumps, a lot of crests to deal with. And as you see, Madilson making his way through some very fast kinks, and a jump as well, shows what the drivers are having to deal with around here. An incredibly fast section. But currently, it's Jared from Evolution Racing Team running in second place in another Ford, and a huge jump right there, almost getting onto the front wheels, and then a hard 90 onto some tarmac, but only for the briefest of moments, back onto the red dirt. The drivers have to be careful of that. The changing surfaces in the Australian stages, not 100% gravel. They do have to deal with some tarmac as well. Requires a different driving style, different suspension setup if they have those options, and certainly looking like a consistent run from him so far. But currently in the lead, it is going to be Lucas Matea, who's making his way over another one of the huge jumps here and onto the tarmac for some lovely sweepers. Love watching the drivers go through these corners, but that is a problem there. A big, big, big problem for Daniel Johansson.
Absolutely facing the wrong way there, and he's got to get himself back underway.
There goes his bonnet.
Without a hood, he will go. So a little bit less aerodynamic. And wow, the entire front of that car has been ruined, but not ruining his corner speed at all, keeping it very, very fast indeed, because it is overall a very fast stage. And well, thanks for the extra road work that the councils have to do at the end of the weekend. But nonetheless, at the moment, you can see they're doing a very good job. Very high speed once again, transition from the gravel to the dirt, and he's doing very, very well indeed. And again, just firing the car at super high speeds, almost into the fence, but just controlling it beautifully. And at the moment, the race leader, Curse Mickey, doing absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but not doing so brilliant as Daniel Johansson, who shows up in the game as 2-2-1. He took stage wins on just about every stage in the last rally we ran, but he is having the absolute opposite of luck when switching to these R5 cars. We're not quite sure what happened to him over the course of the stage, but he's not going to get this miniature rally off to a good start. Huge slide there from Matea.
No, he's really throwing the car around at the moment, isn't he? Getting everything he can out of every millimeter of road available to him. And even if it's not road, he'll still use it to go faster. Car backfiring and sparks flying as well. making his way through this section. The car just backfiring at every 2 seconds as he crosses the line in style. Very high speed approach indeed. And that is a great result there for your driver. The two ERT guys very, very close indeed over the line. Look at the speed on board across the line. Top four all across the line. And now your 5th place runner as well. This is absolutely fantastic. And unfortunately, 221 or Daniel Johansson, he crosses the line last, but probably the lightest of all the cars.
Yes, indeed. Missing a few body panels from that. Those are the splits. And have a look at how close it was between Madilson and Mongo John. It's only 9/10, which over a stage like this of 3 minutes and 20 seconds in length, nothing to sneeze at. Super close. And it looks like Mongo John is the only one that isn't carrying damage out of this.
Well, sometimes keeping the car clean is how you win rallies. And, well, at the moment, he's doing everything he needs to. So while the times, may not be the most super competitive, if you can just keep the car clean, you're going to be the fastest car at the end of it when everyone else is broken bits and bonnets flying off and all that. So nothing to sneeze about. 4th place, 7 seconds behind, but a lot less damage to the car, which will carry over to stage 2. So those that do have damage on their cars, they can't repair it in between these 2 stages. They can't repair it until the end of stage 2. So now the ball, if you want to say it, is all in the court of Daniel Johansson there.
Absolutely is, and this is the stage that we're going to for stage 2, the Yambulla Mountain Ascent. Looks like a lot of straight line sections there, so these guys are going to reach some absolutely scintillating speeds. And I tell you what, Madilson will definitely be wanting to get this one over and done with as soon as possible, because he is the one with the most damaged car out here. We look at the Mitsubishi Mirage lining up on the start line. This is absolutely fantastic, this stage. I can't wait to see how the drivers tackle this one.
I did want to quickly correct myself. Something I've just been informed about as well. There's no service whatsoever for all 4 stages. So I said the ball was in the court of Mr. Daniel Johansson. Well, it well and truly is. He's got the cleanest car with 3 long stages to go. Beautiful shot there of some trees, which is exactly what we want to see when watching some rally cars. But at the moment, Sam Thornton is off to a very strong start, sliding the car through the Australian forest and off to see if he can get a bit of redemption for last stage, where he didn't probably get the result that he would have liked, but very much attacking at the moment and trying to make ends meet this time.
Yes, a long series of 4 rights and 5 rights leading into 6s as well. You got the rock wall beside you. You got a sheer drop into some trees on your left-hand side. So these guys driving along the side of a valley at the moment. They want to keep it as clean as they can. Jared, meanwhile, from Evolution Racing Team, leading the way in this Ford Fiesta, looking like some very smooth driving here. These R5 cars, nowhere near as powerful as the Group B monsters that we saw in the last rally, but certainly it provides a good opportunity to chuck the thing around.
They're probably not as fast, but they're probably more efficient at the job that they do. And of course, with the damper technology and springs, they're a lot easier to control, even if it doesn't always seem like it. You can see there, ERT Jared really firing it around at the moment. Of course, Evolution Racing Team with quite a strong lineup of Dirt Rally 2 drivers, and a credit to them for finding a bit of a loop in the esports market that no one else in Australia sim racing really looked for. And ERT really capitalizing on that today with 2 of their drivers in your top 5 currently, and of course a bit more in the round before as well. So ERT with a great lineup, and ERT Jared showing why he should be the team leader. So close to the outside bank there, but keeping it away, keeping the speed up, and doing what he needs to do as the drivers are about to hit the halfway point in this stage. Still a long way to go though, and any mistake can have them flying off into the trees. There's a big elevation change there into a very tight corner as well. So slowing the car down on gravel is no easy feat, but Jared, he's making it look good.
Yeah, he absolutely is. I actually drove this section of the stage myself some weeks ago, and I recall it being a bit of a hard slog to get through. Lots of corners that can catch you out, especially if you're not paying attention to the pace notes. But Jared keeping it nice and clean here, and going through an intersection, which is one of the harder places to get right, and only just kissing that wall. It seems like drivers are just using the scenery to help them around these corners.
All I'm going to say is I'm glad I'm not the co-driver because I would not be feeling safe with Jared in the driver's seat right now. He is absolutely throwing this thing around. No fear whatsoever with the scenery. Like you say, he's using it to his advantage. He got banked there, I think. Not even slowing him down in the slightest. Cut to the grass when he probably should be cutting the course. And he still manages to keep it on the road. We'll go on board, even if I wish the director wouldn't, because this is just going to be a terrifying ride. Go on board. Oh my goodness me! Nope, I'm out. Goodbye. I'm done.
See ya. See you guys. Broadcast cancelled. Goodbye. But this section has got it's got a few jumps, this section, Bo. The drivers are going to be completely on edge. They got another jump to go before the finish. All drivers are in the final sector of the stage now, and they've got a very fast section coming up, leading up to the finish line. The first one to experience it is going to be ERT Jared, going through these fast sweepers, 6 rights, 5 rights, a huge jump over the finish for him, taking the stage win as they transition to tarmac, and everyone giving their dampers one hell of a workout.
Right now, I just feel like Ralph Wiggum. I'm in danger. I am most definitely in danger. Across the finish line, the last of our drivers are going. Oh my goodness me! I'm glad the camera's cut because I'm not sure about the safety on anyone within a kilometer radius of that. But at the end of it, ERT Jared will take your race, or your stage win, I should say. Lucas Matea brings it home in second, with John in third, just doing a very consistent job. And he was 7 seconds off in that last stage. Only 6 seconds off this time, and if we can get the damage results up on screen as well, we'll see if Mongo is able to just keep the car relatively clean. He's got a minor bit of body damage, but high engine temperature, so perhaps a bit of a bad landing from a jump has cracked the radiator or something of the like, but overall, he's doing very well compared to the likes of 221, Samic, and even Medielson, who have very severe damage, including a track rod damage as well. So clearly, a couple of hits to a tree too many.
Yeah, one too many indeed. It's actually pretty close time-wise there in those last 3 places for that stage. We'll have to wait and see how things work out, because now we go to stage 3, the Noorinbee Ridge Descent. And wow, it's going to be a descent into madness, I think, for a few of these drivers, because have a look at how many straight line sections you've got on that stage.
Yep, can we not go on board with Jared, please? Like, please, director. I do not want to be witnessing with this. But as you can see there, the drivers almost all readied up and ready to get underway for the Noorinbee Ridge Descent. And there's going to be plenty of high-speed action in this one. Stage number 3 for the Australian or Oceanic section of tonight. Of course, the Invitational for some of the drivers that had a few issues in the previous round. But if you do want to get involved, the current plan is for every fortnight to have these kind of events. And there's a pre-qualifying part as well. So if you want to get yourselves involved, and that is a bit of a jump start I'm seeing there. That was only 4 lights and away you go. Sam Thornton is your early race leader, but probably not the way you want to lead a race.
No, you know, jumping the start, you want to get off, you want to get your stage off to the best start possible, and if you jump the gun a little bit too early, that's a 10-second time penalty that's immediately added to your stage time. So I think Sam's probably going hell for leather thinking, geez, I got to finish 10 seconds ahead of everyone else if I want to keep this win.
And that's a lot of pressure, of course. You've got that mentality that you're constantly playing catch-up, makes you push harder, and puts you at risk to making a silly mistake or even planting your car in a tree as well. So these drivers need to be fairly careful, especially Sam Thornton, to make sure he's not overdriving now that he has that penalty over his head. So not thinking about catch-up, just thinking about doing the best job you can and making sure that you make no mistakes to limit the damage, because there is damage limitation for him now. It's not a case of he's going to win the race unless he has a miracle of a run.
Yes, indeed. We take a look at Lucas Matea here, making his way around the stage and absolutely pitching that Fiesta into these fast corners. And you see how the camber changes. You see how the berms and the banks by the side of the road really affect how you want to attack these corners. Just hitting the inside of that hairpin was Matea. And, well, I can already see on the left-hand side of the screen, the gaps between everyone have closed right up. All of the drivers are neck and neck at the moment.
Oh, they are, apart from Sam Thornton, who's ran into it. Said he had to be careful not to overdrive and make a mistake. I think, unfortunately, Sam has indeed. We'll go on board now. He is back up and running. But that bonnet isn't looking as pretty as it was before. He's done a complete number on the car there. So unfortunately, Sam Thornton, his day might be done, and I'm seeing another slow-moving dot as well. So perhaps more people running into issues, and it's hard to see, it's easy to see, sorry, why they might run into issues, because it is so high speed and so dangerous through this section. One little slip-up or one little wrong patch of gravel, because it is a dynamic track as well. So if you do get off into the wrong patch of dirt where it's slightly looser, well, you're on for a very long and very painful ride, it has to be said, off of the course. And the Monster Energy, the Polo there, is doing everything it can to keep this race lead 2-2-1. Or Daniel Johansson there is doing a very nice run at the moment for Jared, very close behind as well. So who is it going to be? It's going to be Daniel Johansson or ERT Jared to take the win. And we can't forget about Medilson lining up in third as well, perhaps just a little bit further back than your top two. It's a two-horse race currently for the stage win, and it is neck and neck into the final meters.
Yeah, the final meters coming up, and it's a huge battle. We're seeing some changes there between Mongo John and Matea for third place, but that's the final corner there for Madilson. He takes the stage win, and how close do you want to be? Sam Thornton trailing behind here, not having a very good time in that Mirage.
Not a very good time, but he does strategically get a little bit of broadcast time, and Sam has been very competitive and doing way better than myself or Reese ever could. And I think it really has to be said that although he's got a bit of a puncture to the left rear, that these are definitely some very high-level drivers, and they really enjoy their fences as well, apparently. But Sam's going to put on a bit of a show for us here, maybe go in reverse for a bit, and that's pretty good. I'll give him that. That's a nice turnaround.
Yeah, very well done there, Sam. And that is the final corner of the stage for him. And that is the results at the end of it. Have a look at the gap between third and fourth. Well, third, fourth, and fifth, actually. 2/10 separating all of them. Super competitive.
Yep, super competitive, and pretty much what we've come to expect in this. This is a super close field, and it is fantastic to see that all of these guys have come out and really performed at the best level. You can see there ERT Jared, and I believe that's also, sorry, I'm getting my name's Lucas Matea, who have got the least amount of damage there as well. So those guys doing very well to keep the car not only fast, but clean as well. We've also got 2-2-1 there, Daniel Johansson with body damage, radiator steaming, and track rod damage, and plenty of other carnage. So a couple of drivers not keeping it as clean as perhaps they would like.
And you could see that that Thornton had his track rod completely snapped. So in this final fourth stage, they're going to have an incredibly rough time. Rockton Plains reverse. Wow, that's an interesting looking one. Some very big sweepers and no hairpins to speak of.
Yeah, a bit of a change from New Zealand, which was pretty much 99% hairpins. But I have to say, I love the Australian course. High speed, high danger, and I'm sure if we do any more of these events in the future, we'll have to get Finland involved, because everyone knows exactly how good Finland is when it comes to rally. We'll look at the number 2 Mitsubishi there. I believe that's Sam Thornton. The car's looking a lot better than it was in the previous race, and we're about to get this next one underway. You'll be watching the lights a lot more carefully this time, just to make sure there's no jump start. First light is on. The second, third, and now fourth are on, but it's the fifth one that counts when it goes out, and it has now. And it's lights out, and away they go to stage 4 of 4. It's the final countdown. It's the final run. Who is going to be the event winner? I think I saw Madilson running into extremely early troubles.
Yeah, some big early troubles for him. That's a spin, put him back into 5th place running, but it's a very close battle for the lead between Jared and Daniel Johansson. They are switching places at the moment, and the drivers still incredibly close there on the splits, as you can see down in the bottom left. And they're continuing to trade places. These guys are neck and neck as they come into this incredibly fast section, over a jump, possibly, nope, through a sweeper. Many other sweepers coming up too. This is not going to be a fun time for Madilson with the damage that he is carrying.
No, not at all, but of course the cooling won't be an issue. We saw a couple of drivers with engines overheat, such issues. I tell you what, the pace isn't looking too bad either. Mr. 221 doing very well to extend the margin away. Daniel Johansson in the sole Volkswagen out of them all is doing very nicely indeed, and the speed he's carrying is still very, very nice indeed as he leads ERT Jared. And not much of a gap between those two once again, but a bit of a gap back to third in Madilson and Sam Thornton as well. So those guys just spreading out a little bit between your top two compared to your remaining three. That still means we have a brilliant fight for your race win and also for your podium, as I think I'm seeing some drivers off the road, and Sam, it just has not been your night.
No, stuck in a fence there with the engine steaming. That's his radiator almost gone. And he'll be hoping that he can make it to the end of this one if he can get going again. He's getting going just eventually. Sounds absolutely horrible, that car. And it looks like he can barely drive it forward.
Yeah, look, that is definitely going on Craigslist at the end of this. That is a nightmare of a car. And into the wall again. I would not be surprised if, unfortunately, at the end of it all, that is a retirement, and indeed it is. Off the map he will go. Sam has officially decided that enough is enough, and we'll call his stage there. But at the moment, ERT Jared is your stage leader. Something has happened there to Mr. Daniel Johansson, and the gap between the two has opened up a little bit as well. So maybe just a bit more bravery from Jared, or maybe the damage finally catching up to Daniel Johansson, and not having the luck that he would like, is now third place, definitely in the control of Lucas Matea. But once again, the high-speed section, that Volkswagen looks fairly strong, and you can see the pace that is being carried by Jared. But I've got to say, this is closing up quite quickly. Who's going to win this, Jared, or is it going to be Daniel?
Yeah, it's incredibly close between them, and they've got a big tarmac section here that immediately turns into gravel. That was some of the fastest corners on the stage you just saw right there, and Jared running a little bit wide through that left-hander that he just went through might potentially give Johansson the chance that he needs, but it looks like he's only a few seconds behind him at the moment, as they are in the final sector of the stage. Just got to go across this bridge, then it's through a sweeper, and then we've got a 2 right coming up, I believe, after this. Look at the camber, look at the bumps. He's riding them absolutely beautifully over the bridge on the gravel, and ERT Jared coming across the line to take victory, but that was incredible. Johansson keeping him very honest.
Absolutely, that was very, very close indeed. And of course, it doesn't mean much, but Medielson having a spin and a fairly nice recovery does mean a lot. But third place, he's missing 2. He's missing 2. He's missing both his left side tires, and he's in third place. Mongo has to somehow just push as hard as he can and get this done. And Mongo will go on board now, is hunting down third place. And Medielson is vulnerable. There's nothing he can do. He's helpless. Back that Mongo is still going. I think Mongo only has 3 wheels, so it's 2v3. It's a bike versus, I don't know, a tri-bike. What do you even call it? And Mongo takes third place, and Medielson can do nothing about it.
Oh my goodness.
This is a little hard to commentate on. I think we need some Benny Hill music, but Mongo may just get to the finish line in a very understeery way. And Medielson, with 2 wheels on his wagon, comes home in 4th. There are your stage times, but of course, we don't quite yet have the official event results. And you can see a couple of damage results up on screen. Wheel wobbling, I think, was the least of Jared's problems. And for Mongo here, definitely has quite a bit of damage there as well. Definitely hard to see how he wasn't able to stick with the top 2. But we'll get your overall results in just a couple of seconds. But you can see there, Sam retires unofficially, and a minute 5 penalty applied for that retirement. So not ideal, and unfortunately, I don't think this will quite be his rally where he gets onto the podium. But who were your podium sitters at the end of it all? We'll have to wait until the next screen. The game just teasing us just a little bit more, but the next screen will show us, hopefully, who your top 3 for the rally were. Jared was very consistent, but of course, Daniel Johansson, when he needed to be, could get some incredibly fast times under his belt. Who is it going to be as we wait for the next screen to tick on by?
The suspense is killing me.
It's a nice Mitsubishi, but I'd rather look at the result. Nope.
Well, there we go.
Everybody's a winner.
That's exactly right. And what a note to end on there. My goodness. I tell you what, Daniel Johansson, I reckon he could have had a proper shot at winning that rally were it not for his mistakes in stage 1. He certainly put on a great show in the Group Bs, but fell a little bit short in the R5s. I reckon driver of the day in the R5s was Jared.
Absolutely. Jared was very quick. His commitment in some of the stages was above none. And Daniel Johansson, he kept him honest, but I think Jared was just a cut above at the end of the day. And he provided some great entertainment for us as well.
Absolutely did. And we hope that this provided entertainment for all of you out there watching on Twitch. We hope you enjoyed this event. Of course, this is only the first time we're doing this, and there's going to be many, many more after this. So it's confirmed that Jared is the rally winner with Daniel Johansson in second. On that note, that brings to an end proceedings for tonight. Thank you so much for watching if you've tuned in. And we certainly hope to see you in a couple of weeks' time when this gets off to a proper start. I'm Reese Gardner. Bo Albert was joining me. Jay Kennedy, responsible for bringing the pictures to you live. We're SimSpeed TV. It's bye for now, but not forever.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got everything outside of both of them. Maloney.
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top
Oh
here.
my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second, very close. These guys are want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?